that his name would stink from one end of London to the other. If he had any friends, he would lose them. All the time we were talking to the small man, we had to keep the girl's mother and aunts and sisters from attacking him. They were as wild as harpies. I never saw such a circle of faces filled with hate. And the man at the middle of it all simply stared back at us and sneered, as if he were the devil himself. "If you choose to make capital out of this accident by blackmailing me," said he, "I am naturally helpless. Every gentleman wishes to avoid a scandal. Name your price." In the end, we agreed the small man would give £100 to the girl's family as compensation. He went off to fetch the money, and the doctor and I followed him. Where do you think he went? Straight to that door, in the sinister building. He whipped out a key, went in, and came back with £10 in cash and a cheque for £90. That cheque was not signed by him. I won't tell you whose name was on it, but it was a very well-known and very respectable gentleman. I assumed the cheque was a fake, but the man swore it was not. He declared that he would stay with me until the banks were open, cash the cheque himself, and hand the money over. So we all set off together to my house, the doctor, the child's father, the small man, and myself. We spent the remainder of the night there. After we had breakfasted, off we all went to the bank. I handed the cheque to the clerk and told him I thought it was a fake. But no, that cheque was real. "Ah," said Mr. Utterson. "It's a bad story, isn't it?" Mr. Enfield sighed. The man who trampled down that poor child was a damnable creature. The person who signed that cheque for him is a perfect gentleman. So it must be that he is being blackmailed. Paying the price for some youthful indiscretion. Blackmail House is what I call that place with the door now. A silence fell over the two men until Mr. Utterson asked, "The man who signed the cheque, does he live in that building?" "No," said Mr. Enfield. "And have you ever asked anyone about it?" said Mr. Utterson. "No. If I started asking questions, it'd be like starting a stone rolling down a hill. It sets off other stones, and before you know it, some old bug gets knocked in the head in his own back garden, and there's such a scandal the whole family have to change their name. No, I make it a rule that the shadier things look, the less I ask about them." "A very good rule," said Mr. Utterson. It was one he mostly followed himself. "However, I have noticed some things about the place," Mr. Enfield said. "There's only that one door, and the only person who goes in or out is the damnable man I met that night. There are 3 windows on the first floor that look out over the backyard, but no windows on the ground floor. There's a chimney, and smoke comes out, so someone must live there. But I can't be sure who. The buildings here are so packed together, it's hard to tell where one ends and another begins." The pair walked on in silence. And then Mr. Utterson said, "Your rule not to ask questions is a good one, Enfield. But I want to ask the name of the man who walked over the child." "Well," said Mr. Enfield, "I can't see what harm that would do. It was a man by the name of Hyde." "What does he look like?" asked Mr. Utterson. "He is not easy to describe. There is something wrong with his appearance, something displeasing, something downright detestable. I never saw a man I so disliked, yet I don't know why. He must be deformed somewhere. He gives off that feeling. Yet I can't tell you how or where." Again, the men walked in silence, and then Mr. Utterson asked, "You're sure he had a key?" "My dear sir," Mr. Enfield protested. "I know my curiosity seems strange," said Mr. Utterson, "but the fact is, I didn't ask you the name of the man who wrote that cheque, as I already know who he is. So if you have been inexact at any point in your story, please correct it." "I have been exact in every detail," Mr. Enfield replied, a little crossly. "Hyde had a key, and still does. I saw him use it only a week ago." Mr. Utterson sighed.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.